So, I want to talk about forgiveness and pride. So, two separate things here, but they can tie together. So, first off, I want to start off with pride. And pride, you can see that in one of two different ways. One is being prideful in the sense of, gosh, nothing I ever seem to do is right. Kind of getting into that woe is me thing. That's pride. And then the other is, everything I do is excellence, and I'm an excellent person. That's also pride. So those two things, believe it or not, those are both pride. And you can be on either one of those two aspects of things and being prideful. And then how that ties into forgiveness. Well, that's key also, because see, forgiveness, every single one of us is going to go through some kind of hurt and trial or tribulation in life. And boy, this is greasy right here. Hold on. We're going to go through any kind of trial or tribulation in life, or in the aspect of a friend or a loved one, someone close to us, maybe even not even be a friend, where we're hurt. And even in a sense, it may even not even be somebody who's close to us. It may be, an acquaintance or whatever the case may be. It can be very difficult to give that forgiveness. And you can get tied up in a sense of you're really hurt by what that individual did. It could just very well be with what the individual said. And if you say something to that person and they apologize, accept the apology. Now, if it happens again, Jesus says, well, actually, I think it was Peter that actually asked Jesus, well, how many times should I forgive my brother? 7 times? And Jesus says 77. So, in other words, what Jesus is saying is always give forgiveness. Always forgive. Just let it go. Forgive. Don't worry about, just forgive. But that forgiveness, what I mainly want to get at is it's essentially, it's freeing for you. If you don't forgive, then you're holding on to resentment and pain and hurt that essentially you shouldn't even be holding on to that. You need to let it go. And I know for a fact that is easier said than done. It is way easier to just, hold on to it and keep rehashing in your mind, I can't believe so-and-so said this or that. And really, the reality of it is you're the only one that's going through that. That other person, they're probably getting a good night's sleep, and they're probably not even concerned about it. But most importantly, the main thing is that I want to really focus on is, first and foremost, we have to remember that the reason for giving that forgiveness is vengeance is God's. God will fight for us, and we're to hold our peace. And that's in Exodus 14:14. We're to let the Lord fight for us and hold our peace. And sometimes that's a tough thing to do. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that. That is a tough thing to do. That's not an easy task. So, and that's that whole, really essentially, it's letting go and letting God handle the situation. And then on top of that, the pride aspect of that, going through that, is you could feel as if, well, I'm going to they know what they did, and so I'm waiting for them to apologize to me. See, that's where pride can, that's pride. So, if there's a problem that you have with someone, don't hold on to it. I'm speaking from experience. We all have done this. We hold on to a grudge or something like that. Let it go. Go talk to the person, air it out, and move on. And life is not worth that. Yeah, I mean, I've had family members that were that way, and they wouldn't even talk to somebody, and then unfortunately, the family member, they died, and then it's just like, well, what a waste. You could have, you let pride get in the way there. So that was kind of the whole gist of what I wanted to talk about, with forgiveness and pride. And we can see how the two can go hand in hand and fight against each other, and especially with the pride thing. Is you could be prideful, that essentially having that victimhood. I'm a victim of this, and this shouldn't have happened to me, and so on and so forth. And well, unfortunately, it happened. But the main thing is, we can't forget, is that the Lord knows. He knows all. He knows what's in the heart. He knows what's in the heart of that other person, just as He knows what's in your heart. And if your heart is filled with hatred, Jesus says, if you hate your brother, your heart is filled with hatred. It's the same as murder. It's the same with your heart is filled with lust. It's the same as committing adultery. And so we need to turn back to our first love, which is Jesus Christ. We need to love Him, love Jesus Christ of Nazareth. We need to love Him with all our heart, mind, and soul, and be focused on Him. That's something that's easier said than done too. Believe you me, boy. I'll tell you right now, here's a challenge for you. Try to spend, a few minutes and just be focused on Jesus. That's a tough thing to do. You start out with just 3 minutes. do a 3-minute timer, and you are just 3 minutes focused on Jesus. That's a tough task, because, man, as soon as you start doing that, the enemy's going to be right in there, throwing this in there, throwing, all kinds of thoughts are going to be going through your mind. And, yeah, it's a tough challenge. But I challenge you to do that. And, but anyhow, I think that's really about it. I can't think of anything else to talk about. The main thing, like I said, is that forgiveness and pride, and how close they are together, and can fight and work against each other, and feed off of each other. So, as I am in my own life working on forgiveness, I implore you to do the exact same thing, and not being prideful, and staying focused on Jesus, because He is the way, the truth, and the life, and no one comes to the Father but through Him. And I will end with this, and that is Deuteronomy 31:6. And that is that we are to be strong and of good courage, and to not be afraid, or not to fear them, and to know that the Lord our God is with us, and He will never leave us nor forsake us. And then that Exodus 14:14. For the Lord will fight for us, and we shall hold our peace. So I'll leave it at that. You guys have a great day. Be safe. Stay warm.